Hey, thanks for joining me. So today I want to talk about a Mora knife. It's the Pro S. Now the Pro S is an interesting knife in that I think it's kind of based off the 546, which is the stainless version of the 511 that's got some enhanced features. It's a really nice knife. I actually bought this for my wife, and it's kind of like her version of a companion. My wife has limited hand strength due to some rheumatoid arthritis issues, and so this knife with a little bit shorter blade and this very comfortable grip or handle on it has just been a good one for her. It's very easy, very lightweight, easy to use, and it's just been a good fit. I think this knife has a lot of really interesting uses. We're going to talk about that. We're going to put it on the bench and explore that. Comes with a pretty interesting sheath as well, and it's extremely affordable. So anyway, let's take a look at it. If you would, before we get started, please click on the like and subscribe buttons, and let's take a look at this thing. This is the Mora Pro S, and I say Mora. I think most everyone knows that it's actually Morakniv. I'm not sure how they pronounce that in Sweden, but I think generically just about everyone calls these a Mora. So like I said, this is I believe based on the 546 or 511, the 546 being the stainless version of the 511. Now the 511 basically is a very similar knife, same blade length, same blade thickness, but it's not as broad top to bottom. I don't know what the exact dimensions are, but it is a little bit narrower blade. And on Mora's website, they actually say that this blade was designed to be a little stronger, maybe for some higher stress uses. And again, these knives are made for craftsmen. They are made, I guess, in Sweden and in the Scandinavian countries. It's not uncommon for people like carpenters and construction workers to wear a knife on their belt, such as one of these. And I think that is, this knife is actually listed under their craft section. So anyway, the 511 or 546 has a different handle also. It doesn't have the rubber overmold. The handle is like the 510. It's just, it's shaped more like this, but it's made of this kind of material. I think the shape is actually more like this Mora fillet knife, and it's shaped a bit more like this. Maybe it doesn't have quite as exaggerated a guard, but it's just a hard plastic. This Pro S is stainless steel, and as you can see here, it says stainless. The Pro C version is carbon steel if you prefer the carbon, so you can get basically the same knife. I think it's a different color on the handle, but it's carbon steel, and the steel is the Sandvik 12C27 that Mora uses. And it's interesting, on their website they now call it a recycled stainless steel, and I think that largely has to do with as they fine blank these, or as they punch these out of sheets or rolls, flat sheets that come on rolls, the waste material in between is sent back to the steel mill to be reprocessed into new sheets, and so there's no waste on their steel. And I don't know if they use some steel that's not recycled, that's original, or how that works exactly, but they make a point of saying it's recycled. I have a feeling they've always done that. They're just now using that word to, I don't know, seem a little more green, I guess, if you will. Okay, so the handle is a hard plastic. This blue part is hard plastic with this TPE rubber overmold, and it is very grippy. It's a very comfortable handle. It's one of the reasons I chose this for my wife, is because you don't have to grip it as tightly to get good purchase on it. It has some, like a little rib here, and the rubber is very grippy. It just really hangs onto your skin. So I think even if your hands were damp, this would hold on really well. It's a very comfortable handle in just about any position. It just seems to be kind of a good fit. I want to get a magnet out here. The handle, I mean, it's not a full tang knife. It has this plastic sticking out here, but the The tang seems to stop around there, about where the M is in Morakniv. Maybe just before that. That's kind of where the magnet, you can feel it still grabbing right about there. So, you know, the tang on the knife is about 3/4 of the length of the handle, which should give it plenty of strength. I don't think you would find any problem with strength on this. You know, and I know you can break any knife if you try hard enough, but I believe this was designed to be a little bit more robust than, say, the 511. The blade is broader. Whether the tang is any broader, I don't know. But unless you just really abuse the knife, I don't think you have to worry about it. I think this knife would handle, I mean, it's not a big knife and it's not that thick, but I think you could do a certain amount of light-duty batoning with it if you felt like that was necessary. I'm not a big fan of batoning knives, but if that's your thing, then I think it would take a certain amount of that. Now, the blade is about 3 3/8 inches long. The overall length is just a little, right around 8 1/4 inches. The handle's about 4 5/8. Weighs about 4 ounces. And so it's not very heavy. And it comes with this, what they call a Comi sheath. It's really interesting. You notice it's got this snap thing here in the back. The belt loop part of it has a hook, so it hooks over your belt so it doesn't come off easily. It's got this little thing on the front, and the idea is if you have another Mora knife with the same type of sheath, you can piggyback them. I don't have one of those, but you can take like this 510 sheath and you can kind of hook it on there. But that's the idea, is that you would have another knife piggybacked on, so you just have one hooked on your belt and two of them piggybacked. And they're supposed to stay secure. This little latch here is supposed to, once you snap it in, it's supposed to hold it in until you unlatch it. So it's kind of a neat idea. The knife snaps in pretty securely, and you can see that there's this little indentation here on the handle on both sides, and that's what it actually registers into. There's on the inside of the sheath, there's I don't know if how much you can see it, there's a little bump right there, and there's one on the top side here, and those snap into that on the handle, and keep it from falling out. Doesn't seem to rattle or anything. Does have this nice little thumb ramp here so you can pop the knife out. Also found it equally easy just to take your forefinger and pop it out that way. It comes out pretty smoothly. It seems to be a good sheath. Does have a drain hole, so if you get caught in the rain, and water can pour out of it. And according to Mora's website, their stainless steel holds an edge longer than the carbon. I'm sure some people would probably debate that, but that's what Mora says. So anyway, I bought this, like I said, for my wife because, like I said, she has rheumatoid arthritis. She has some hand strength issues, and a larger knife like this Companion, to me, would put more leverage. It weighs a bit more. It would put more leverage against her wrist, against her hand, with the longer blade. To me, this Pro S just seemed like a little bit better fit for her, for when she's, doing stuff out of doors. And so I think that's just a really good fit. Another option would be something like this 510, but again, the handle is not as secure, and blade is longer too. So I don't know, this just seemed like a really good fit, and we were actually able to buy this locally at a farm store, and they stock Mora knives. So it's I think just this I think would be a really good knife for a youth. I know Boy Scouts, I don't think they're allowed to use. When I was a scout leader, and it's been a number of years, they had kind of outlawed fixed blade knives for scouts, and you had to carry a pocket knife. But just for young people in the out of doors, I think this would be an excellent first knife. It isn't overly large, and just got a lot of nice features, so I think it would be good for that. Now, these things are very affordable. The MSRP on Mora USA's website, which is, I think it's ucogear.com. These are $17.99 MSRP. I looked these up on Blade HQ this morning, and they were $13.95. I think I paid $12 or $13 at the farm store that I bought this at. So they're a very affordable knife. And you know, even though, like I say, I purchased this for my wife, I think for any kind of craftsman doing, you know, carpentry work or any kind of construction work, this is a good blade length for a good utility knife. And I think this will take just a, you know, stand up to a lot of use. The blade is not super thick. It's 2 millimeter, 80 thousandths of an inch. But, you know, unless you're just abusing the knife, I don't think you're going to have to worry about damaging it. Anyway, I think it's really nicely made. I know there are some less expensive alternatives. You know, I think I showed a Hultafors knife that was pretty inexpensive, similar, not as nice. I mean, the handle's not as nice. The blade finish not as nice. I think for a few extra dollars you pay for this compared to even the 511 or 546 Mora, I think you just get a little bit nicer product. You know, a little more comfortable to use. Blade polish is a little nicer. Just a step up, just a notch or two. So I think it's a really nice knife, and I think this would make, like I say, a good youth knife, a good knife for women. And I say that not saying, and I'm not saying that women can't handle a bigger knife. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I think it would be a good fit for a lot of people. And I think, you know, even for men, I think this is a good blade length, a good size. I'm not a big advocate of carrying giant knives around in the woods. To me, a smaller knife is probably more useful. I think this would be a great knife for field dressing game. I think it would be great for that too if you're a hunter. Anyway, this is the Mora Pro S, a very affordable, I think very well thought out knife. So that's the Mora Pro S. Really, I think it's just a fantastic knife. Like I said, when we're looking at it on the bench, I think it's got some really good uses. For a youth knife, for women, and I'm not saying that a woman can't use a bigger knife, don't get me wrong, but I think for a lot of uses, certainly for my wife, in her situation, this is a better fit than a larger knife. Anyway, that's the Mora Pro S. If you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I always love hearing from you, and as always, thanks for watching.